Hello printmaking kids, this is Mrs. Gardner, and I have some of the tools that you see here that we're working in class or that you might have taken home with you. And we have a bench hook, that's this. It kind of hooks onto the edge of the table. It gives you some leverage as you are cutting into the layers of your Linocut. Because we're doing a Linocut project, it's a type of relief painting, relief printing, where whatever surface is left of the original matrix of the plate that is left sticking out, when you do ink it with a brayer, that is what the paper will touch to make the print. So here's what we're using. This is like a 4x6 linoleum surface that is pretty soft, and it's actually all the way through. Sometimes we put it on blocks, but this is fine. And then here's a half piece, a practice piece that you can just get the hang of using a tool safely and to see how to kind of work out your design. And then also you have a little, it's like a soap eraser. It's a small one that you can make a smaller print. In fact, that's where this little pop print came from. Excuse me, because you do need to have an accent stamp that goes with your card design. We're going to be designing a 4x6 card that you can have any theme that you want. And to start out, you can use the white, just any old paper, just white paper like this is fine. And we're just tracing the size that we're using. And you could fit 2 of these on this sheet of paper. You know, just put your name on the front of the paper also. So if you're working at home, you can bring it back. Or if you're working at school, I'll want to see your sketches. So let's see. So perfect 4x6, doesn't matter if it's vertical or horizontal. And so that's how we start out. You'll see that here's some early designs of a printing plate. Here's the actual printing plate. You may be able to see some of the surface, like I can get my little fingernails caught in there. It's already been carved on. Whatever surface is left is what the ink will stay on to print. And I just started out with a simple design, but then you really have to kind of work it out and figure out how you're going to interpret your design. You know, what's negative, what's positive, what's going to get carved, what's going to be left to print. Like this could have been a solid shape that is uncarved that would have printed whatever color ink, or I decided to make it kind of a fat outline so that the outline printed and the inside would get carved away, and whatever the paper color is, that shows kind of blank. And so that's how I decided to do this one. And that's how I ended up, oh, you may notice it's in reverse. So if you're doing letters or anything like that, where that matters, keep in mind that you can draw your design in positive, the way you want it to look, and then when you transfer it, really you'll just be taking your pencil drawing, turning it over, lining up the edges of course, and really you can just rub with a spoon, the back of a round part of a spoon, and burnish it down, or even just go back over it with the pressure of the pencil, and when you peel it up you'll see the imprint, okay? And it'll look like it's on reverse because it is, and that's the way you'll carve it. But then remember later on when we do roll the ink and we do go back to printing onto a surface, you'll get it back to the positive. So it goes from positive, sketch, negative on the plate, printing plate, and then positive when you create a print. So I'm going to lay these aside for a sec and show you some prints. Here's one. This is by Kayla Martin. I just love this one. She has a little hot dog shape. Now, this is the inked part, so she left that uncarved. So when she was carving, she was actually carving these little tiny collar, the eyes, so that was actually a little hole. And then she carved away the background. But notice that some of that carving texture shows. That gives you the character of what prints are. And then you can see that here is the accent stamp that was used with a different color printing pad to give it a nice frame. And then, let's see, here is a plate. I really like this one. This is one that I had designed on a piece of kind of like tracing paper. And, you know, it looks a little bit different, but you can see that I imprinted it, put that away, and then I carved away, kind of paying attention to my pattern and rhythm of the swirls of how I carved, and then kind of decided I want to make it more interesting. I left some kind of grassy fire types of shapes that would print also. And then here, oh, and I also decided to leave the border and just let my carved away patterns kind of go near the border, but not all the way off the plate. And so then it prints the border. So here's a print. The first print you make is called an impression, just to kind of get the idea of what you're going to get. And you can see that you can print on different papers. Now I think my battery's going low, so it may knock out any time. So I better show you this. Here's on a cool paper. The back of your tool will have all these tips in here. I like to use I think it's the number 1, but it's like a little tiny kind of V-shaped. Now you have to kind of loosen this a little bit. So I apologize if the video runs out on me, but you get it down in there, it goes, and then tighten it up. And of course I'd put the tips back in the back. But when you are practicing your carving, always cut away from you, never cut into, never hold it like this and cut. That would be extremely dangerous. That's why we have a bench hook. Gives you a little bit of leverage to push against, and just practice, transfer some of your design and then carve away at it. Now I'm going to show you one if I could find it here. Here, I know it's not the exact one, but here's a little practice one. And I had taken my pencil and kind of just went across it, and you can tell what's going to print. The graphite shows you what's going to stick out and print. But when I carved, I did do a little bit of kind of outline trimming around it to give it a nice kind of gully or barrier. So when I did make some cuts, it would kind of like, they would nip out a little bit easier. Of course, I could have moved it around like this. But whatever I'm taking away, the idea is that that will not print. Okay, and again, I can see what I'm going to get just by running my graphite out of it, over it like that. It's going to give you a little bit of foreshadowing of what you're going to get. Here's a little bunny that I had carved, and then here's a little practice print of the bunny. So let's see, that's like the first stages. Here's one that was an old one that I had with the title, my name, my signature, and then the date of the edition, or the date of the creation. Okay, and that's all I'll show you right now. You just have to kind of, I know it's going to cut out soon here, but here's another tree version, totally different. It's kind of like totally opposite. This, a tree stuck out and printed. On this one, I carved into the tree, just a whole different look. So you do have to kind of think out how you're going to design it. It's not just drawing. You have to convert it, like the idea, into a print design. Okay, bye guys.